Hello everyone, welcome to iQuanta. So, how are you guys doing? This is going to be our first session of NMAT SNAP batch for 2025. Alright, first three sessions, one session on each, one for quantitative aptitude, then for language and for reasoning. First three session is going to be free, going to be on YouTube, and then after that it's going to be in a paid group. All right, so if you have not enrolled yet, then the train is leaving, guys. Okay, so we already have some students here: Animesh, Mayank, Sumit, Mukund, Ayushi. Good afternoon everyone. So the topic is percentages, and the importance of this topic cannot be explained in words, right? You can find this topic everywhere, at least everywhere in terms of arithmetic, and arithmetic is a big module of any quantitative aptitude syllabus, right? You can use this percentages concept in profit and loss, then ratio, then average mixture allegation, time and work, time, speed, distance, right? In case of some data interpretation questions as well, we use it. So it's really important that we understand this topic in detail, every part of it we understand it well, so that we won't be having any kind of issues understanding and solving the questions. Okay. Good afternoon, Swastik. So these are the details, okay, for NMAT SNAP course 2025-26. We have 300 plus NMIMS convert from last year, and 400 plus SIBM and SCMHRT convert, and there is some early bird discount for first 50 students only. Live classes will be happening 6 days a week, okay, and there will be 20 full mocks, 10 for NMAT, 10 for SNAP, 4,000 plus practice questions, and it would be way more than this. 4,000 is very less what we provide. 24/7 doubt solving, this amazing feature is available to you, which is unavailable everywhere else. 500 plus pre-recorded videos, so if you have problem understanding the basic concepts, you can get there and find those videos that will help you. Okay, batch is launching from today itself. Okay, and as you can see, I am here, right? Hello Akul, हाल बढ़िया है. Okay, so this is going to the schedule for this week. I am starting at 4 p.m. sharp with percentages. Then tomorrow, Sabana ma'am starting with critical reasoning, and then day after tomorrow, which is on Sunday, I guess it will be 12 to 2 p.m. and Nitin sir will take this session with you guys. Blood relation, such a fun topic and an important topic with respect to logical reasoning section. Okay, so let's start with our sessions, guys. Introduction to percentages. So we will try to revise the concepts from percentages. We will try to learn the basics of percentages. Some of you who have done classes in CAT might find it repetitive, but it's important that we revise it. Then we are going to move to some actual questions. Okay, now in case of percentages, we start with the understanding percentage. What does percentage mean? If you say X%, this is basically X upon 100. That's it. X% is equal to X upon 100. If there is a value A and I want to convert it into percentages, multiplied by 100, and it will become a percentage value. Like if I want to convert a fraction, right, let's say 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is basically 1 by 2 into 50 into 100, which is equal to 100 divided by 2 is 50. So this will become 50%. 1 by 4 is basically 1 by 4 into 100. So this will become 25%. All right. And if you have some percentage value and if you want to convert it into fraction, then you can say, let's say we have 10%, then 10% can be written as 10 upon 100, which is equal to 1 by 10. if you have 20%, then this can be written as 20 upon 100, that is equal to 1 by 5. Some important fraction to percentage conversion or percentage to fraction conversion that we need to know. I will show you the table, I will discuss those conversion. And for example, if you have 14.28%, then 14.28% is nothing but in fraction it can be written as 1 by 7. Like if you want to convert 1 by 7 into percentages, you need to multiply it by 100. So this is equal to 100 upon 7%, which is nothing but 14.2 upon 7%, which is the same value. If you convert it into decimal, you get 14.28%. So this is how we convert one value to other value. Okay, one percentage to fraction, fraction to percentage. Now apart from that, how do we compare a percentage with respect to any other value? Like if we have, let's say x percent of y, so this will be equal to x upon 100 into y, which will be equal to xy upon 100. Or if we have y percent of x, this we can write y upon 100 into x, which is also equal to xy upon 100. So what we can say from here, that x percent of y is equal to y percent of x. How do we use this? How do we use this? So basically, let's say if I want to find what is 64% of 75. 64% of 75, it could be a little calculative if you multiply 64 and 75, but I can write it as 75% of 64. And what is 75%? 25% into 3. What is 25%? 1 by 4. So this will become 3 upon 4 into 64. 4 into 16 is 48. So this becomes 3 into 16 is 48. So the answer is 48. So you can use this as per your purpose. If x, y is some complicated value, you can take y percent of x and find the value. All right. Now we are going to discuss few questions based only these concepts. Okay. And then we are going to learn more concepts and then more questions. So everyone try this question. 9000% minus 900% divided by 90% plus 9% is equal to what? Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the channel. And if you think any of your friends who are preparing for MBA exams can be benefited from this, share the link with those friends. All right. So what will be the answer of this question? See, the answer is also in percentages. So we will try not to disturb as many values as possible. So this I can write 9000% as it is, then minus of, this will be solved first. So it will be 900% upon 90% plus 9%. So now we can say 9000 and 9% minus percentage cancelled out because percentage is nothing but 1 by 100, and this will be 10 times. So minus 10. So basically this is 9009%. If I want to convert this 10 into percentages, I must multiply it by 100. If you want to convert any value into percentages, you must multiply it by 100. So this 10 will become 1000%, and now we have 9009% minus 1000%, which is equal to 8009%. So that's our answer, which is option B. Okay. Namrata is asking, is there calculator for NMAT? Unfortunately, no. In case of CAT, yes, you will get an on-screen calculator, but in case of NMAT or SNAP, you are not going to get any kind of calculator, let it be physical or on-screen. Okay. So is that clear to everyone? If you have any doubts, then ask. Okay, no doubts, then let's try this one. %30 of 40% is equal to x plus 1%, then x is equal to, what is the value of x? What are we getting? Option C. Okay, let's check it. So we can write it as x plus 1% is equal to 30%, which is 30 upon 100, of 40%, which is 40 upon 100. So this 0 0 cancelled out, and we are getting x plus 1% is equal to 12 upon 100, and 12 upon 100 is nothing but 12%, right? We can write it as 12%. So now we can write x will be equal to 12 minus 1, which is equal to 11%. So that's the answer for this question, which all of you who have answered got correct, but all of you who did not answer can ask me your doubts. So as I said, this is just the beginning. Okay, that's why we are trying some basic questions so that we get quickly with the percentages, and then we are going to discuss some good questions. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Yes, Reshma, what about previous question? Do you have any doubts in the first question, Reshma? Last step, this one, 9009 minus 1000 is 8009, percentage will be there. Percentage is nothing but 1 by 100, right? So you can take percentage common and simply subtract the numbers, that's it. If you have doubts here, 10 can be converted into percentage. 10 is a value, 1 is 100%, 2 means 200%, 3 means 300%, है ना? So in that case 10 will be 1000% and the difference will be 8009%. Okay. Shivangi is asking, to change into percentage the number has to be multiplied by 100. Yes, that is correct, Shivangi. So this question says during an election, 70% of the people who polled said that they would vote for Mr. X. 70%. Of those who said that, only 60% actually voted for X. Out of those who did not say they would vote for Mr. X, 70% actually voted for Mr. X. What percentage of those who polled did vote for X? So see, in case of arithmetic problem, right, whenever you need to make an assumption, you can take 100 or some appropriate value as per the given percentage value, that we will discuss further. But for now, take 100 and try to solve the question. So if there are 100 people, out of 100 people who voted for X, that will be equal to who said that they will vote for X will be 70, not X. People who said they are not going to vote for X will be the remaining people, which is 30. Now out of these 30 people, it says only 60% actually voted for X. Only 60% actually voted for X. Yes, no. So 60%, only 60%. So what we can say, 60% of 70. And this will be equal to 60 upon 100 into 70, 0, 0 cancelled out. 42 out of these 70 voted for X. And out of the remaining 30 who said they won't vote for X, how many voted for X? So it says 70% actually voted for X. So 70 yes for X. So 70% of 30. So that will be equal to 70 upon 100 into 30, and this is equal to 21. So total, how many people voted for X? So voted for X, it will be 42 plus 21, which is equal to 63. Now if you take 100, the total as 100, then the beauty of it that you won't have to find the percentage. If this is 63, percentage in percentage it will be 63%. If it is 50, it will be 50%. If it is 21, it will be 21%, right? That's the beauty of assuming values, right? So in case of 100, we can directly say that the required percentage will be equal to 60 upon 100 into 100. That is nothing but 63%. Okay? Khushi, is that clear now? Answer is not 42, it's 63%. है ना? Tell me if you have any doubts. Why not 60% of 70%? Namrata, because we have taken total. Let total votes is equal to 100. This we have taken as total. So number of people who voted, who said they will vote for S will become 70% of 100, that is 70, है ना? So 60% of 70 we can take, ये भी ले सकते हैं. 60% of 70 कितना हो जाएगा? 42. 42%. 60% of 72% will be 42%. 70% of 30% will be 21%. You can also add that, right? Shivangi, as it says that during an election, 70% of the people who polled, so 70% of the total people who polled, right, said yes, they will vote for X. So out of 100, 70 said that they will vote for X, and 30 said that they will not vote for X. But on the voting day, only 60% of these 70 people voted for X, and rest did not vote for X. So 60% of this 70, 60% of this 70 will be 42. These people are out of those 70 people who said that they will vote for X. 42 voted for X, 28 did not vote for X. But out of these 30 people who said that they will not vote for X, 70% of these actually voted for X. They changed their mind and they voted for X, which is 21. So total number of votes for X will be equal to 42 plus 21, that is 63. So what will be the required percentage? required percentage is equal to 63, total is 100 into 100, right, which is equal to 63. We need to find this value is what percent of total, right? So x is what percent of total, x is what percent of y. How do we calculate this? This is x upon y into 100%. Okay, this is how you find one value is what percent of other value. ठीक है? Is that clear now, Namrata, Shivangi? Okay. So all of you who have joined late, these are the details of NMAT and SNAP course that we are starting from today. Okay, this is NMAT SNAP course class. First 3 sessions are free for all of you, so that you can get to learn something, and then start with the classes. So these are the features that you are going to get. All right. Now, percentage to fraction and fraction to percentage conversion, right? We have already done this, but once again we need to know some conversion, some fraction to percentage conversion, so that whenever it is required we can use that. Like 1 by 2 is equal to 50%, 1 by 3 is equal to 33.33%. 1 by 4 will be equal to 25%, 1 by 5 will be equal to 20%, 1 by 6 will be equal to 16.66%, or by rounding it off you can also say 16.67%. 1 by 7 is equal to 14.28%. Then 1 by 8 will be equal to 12.5%. 1 by 9 will be equal to 11.11%. 1 by 10 is 10%, and 1 by 11 is equal to 9.09%. Now till this value, it's very important that you remember these. Okay, till this value, it's really important, because these values will be used frequently in the question. If it says 9.09% in the question, 9.09% of the total number of students are studying biology. Then if you don't know what's the fraction conversion of 9.09%, then it will be really difficult to find that value properly. Okay, you will be getting fraction, and that will be a headache. So in that case, but next few values are also somehow important, and you should also be aware of that. 1 by 12 is 8.33%, 1 by 13 is equal to 7.7% or 7.69%. Any of these you can take. 1 by 14 is 7.14%. %. Now, can anyone tell me what is the percentage conversion of 1 by 15? What's the percentage conversion of 1 by 15? Anyone? One by 15, what will be the percentage conversion? It's not 33.33%, Khushi. So what you need to do, multiply 1 by 15 into 100 and get the conversion. So you will see it's 1 by 15 is equal to 6.66% or 6.67% as well. 1 by 16 will be equal to 6.25%. 1 by 17 is equal to 5.88%. 1 by 18 is equal to 5.55%. 1 by 19 is equal to 5.26%. 1 by 20 is equal to 5%. You can, for some value that are popular, like 1 by 25 is 4%. है ना? So these are the 1 by 3. अच्छा 1 by 3 का बोला था. Okay, ठीक है. So these are the some important conversions from fraction to percentage or percentage to fraction that you should know before we move to the actual questions. Okay. If you don't know this, there is going to be difficult. Now, if I want to find some mixed percentage, like if I want to find what will be, let's say, what will be the value of 36.66% in fraction. What do you say? What will be the fraction conversion of 36.66%? Tell me. 36.66%, what will be the fraction conversion of this value? It's not 4 by 9. 4 by 9 is 36.36%. 4 by 9 is 4 by 9 is 44.44%, है ना? Four by 11 is 36.36%. 4 upon 9 is 44.44%. 4 upon 11 is 36.36%, not 36.66%. See, here we have 1 by 5, 20%, 1 by 6, 16.66%. So this I can write 20% plus 16.66%. 20% will be equal to 1 by 5, this will be equal to 1 by 6, 6 plus 5, 11 upon 30. That's the answer, 11 upon 30, right? So, Swastik got this correct, Sanjog got this correct, but not the rest of you guys. 6 by 15, what is 6 by 15? It's 2 by 5, it's 40%, है ना? That is not correct. So if you see a fractions like this, you should think that how can I achieve this given percentage. Although these are not very popular, they won't be asked this frequently, so that you need to remember these values. But if you know these basic value from 1 to 1 by 11, then you should interpret, you should recognize that given percentage, and you should able to find the answer. All right. Now some of the multiples are also important, okay, but again that we will understand from questions. Let's try this comparison question. We need to find the largest of this. Which of the following is the largest? So let's try and tell me the answer. Some of you guys are very quick. Let's see which of the following is the largest. Now, we need to find which one is the largest. We don't need to find the actual value. If required, we are not going to find the actual value. What we are going to do? We are going to just do the comparison. Now, in case of A and D, if I compare A and D, what can we say? That A is definitely greater than D, because this percentage value 57 is greater than 54. 168 is greater than 154, so this cannot be the greatest. Then if you compare A and C, once again 57.13% is greater than 44.44%, 168 is greater than 162. We can also cancel this out. Now we just need to compare these two values, correct? If we need to compare these two values, what is 57.13% of 168? So see, 1 by 7 is equal to 14.28%, and from there we can say 4 by 7 is equal to 57.13%. Now you don't need to remember these values, but as soon as you practice, you will know these conversion for once, and then you will be able to use them further. So this will be equal to 4 by 7 into 168. So 24 times, this gives us 96. Now the second value, 41.66% of 180. Now how do you find 41.66%? Can I say 41.66% can be written as 25% plus 16.66%. 25% is 1 by 4 and this is 1 by 6. So this will be equal to, take the LCM as 12, 3 plus 2, which is 5 upon 12. So this, now I can write 5 upon 12 into 180, 12 into 15. So this value is 75, correct? So 75 we have here, and the first one we got as 96. So definitely what we can say, that option A is the correct answer, right? Option A is the correct answer. We can directly get 5 by 12 from chart. Which chart, Swastik? From which chart? 1 by 12? 1 by 12 into 5. That's good. We can take it from there as well. Alright. So whenever you need to compare, you don't actually need to find the value of each of them and then compare. No, you can just compare. You can discard few of them, then you can compare if there is some close value. There are some close values. Okay. Now how do we compare two values? So you can see, if one value is what percent more than other value, or one value is what percent less than other value, like x is what percent more than y, so x minus y upon y into 100. Okay, this will be the percentage. Whatever result you get from here, that will be the percentage. So example, 30 is what percent more than 25. Take the difference. Now 30 is what percent more than 25. The base is 25. The base is 25. So in denominator it will be 25, which is nothing but 5 upon 25, 1 by 5 into 100%, that is 20%. Then again, x is what percent less than y. Once again, we are comparing x with respect to y. So what we can say, again take the difference. So y minus x upon y into 100. In this case, x will be less than y. So again we are taking the same value, that 25 is what percent less than 30. So the difference is 5 divided by 30. 5 upon 30 is 1 by 6. 1 by 6 is nothing but 66.66%. Okay. So I hope you know how to compare the values. Whenever we need to find one value is what percent more than the other, or one value is what percent less than the other, we can simply find it using these concepts. Correct? All right. Now in case of comparison, remember that that if x is some percent more than y, then y is not the same percent less than x. Let's say we have two values, 100 and 120. So what we can say, 120 is what percent more than 100? 120 is 20% more than 100. But if question is 100 is what percent less than 120? So in that case, now the base will change. The base will become 120. So it will be 1 by 6. So it will be minus 16.66%. Means 100 is 16.66% less than 120. Okay. So remember, this is a very, very important concept. In this one, lots of students make mistakes. So don't do the same mistake as well. All right, till now if you have any doubts, then let me know before we move to the next part of percentages. Till now if you have any doubts, कोई भी किसी भी तरह का डाउट है तो बताएंगे. All right, then let's come to successive percentage change, which is very important in terms of percentages, है ना, very, very important. What is successive percentage change? So you can see, if one value is increased by or decreased by 2 times, then there is some change, overall change, and that overall change is known as successive change. Okay. For example, if 100 is increased by 10%, then we are getting 110. Then 110 is increased by 20%, so we are getting 132. Okay. So in that case, at first, as you can see, at first it looks like that the resultant change is 30%, but it's not 30. The change from 100 to 132, it's 32%. Okay. So you can use this formula that for 2 successive change, this is the formula. If the change is positive, if it's increasing, then you can use the positive value. If it's decreasing, then you can use the negative value. ठीक है. Vidhi is asking, will there be practice sessions later just like CAT before CAT? Vidhi, yes, we are going to have lots of practice sessions. Okay. So in case of successive percentage change, remember what we need to do. We need to use this concept. So can you tell me, if X is increased by 30% and then we get Y, and Y is increased by 20%, then Z. What is the successive change here? From X to Z, the change is, if the change is R%, then what is the value of R? Tell me this. ठीक है, बताओ. Namrata, see, we have increased value of 100 by 10%. What is 10% of 100? It's 10, right? If I increase 10% to 100, what do we write? 100 plus 10% of 100. 10% of 100 is basically 1/10 of 100, which is 10. This gives us 110. And now we have to increase it by 20%. So what will happen? 110 plus 20% of 110. 20% of 110. So how do you find? 10% will be 11, 20% will be 22. So the result that we are getting is 132. So the value that we got, initially it was 100, now it became 132. So what's the change? Change is 32%. This change is known as equivalent change of 2 successive change. Okay. This is known as successive change. 10 plus 20 is 30, but the total change will not be 30 because it's successive. It will be 32%. And next time onwards, if you want to find successive change, you can directly use this formula. Like if I use 10 and 20, it will be 10 plus 20 plus 10 into 20 upon 100, which is equal to 32%. Like in this case, X is increased by 30%, then the result is increased by 20%. The total change is R%, then R% will be equal to 30 plus 20 plus 30 into 20 upon 100. That is equal to 56%. Okay. I hope this is clear now. लोग चैट में पूछ रहे हैं आप दोगे स्नैप? भाई सबको देना चाहिए स्नैप और एनमैट. You should always have some backup plans. The competition level is so high, right? But you don't have that much time that you can try the same exam again and again and again, right? Like CA aspirants or UPSC aspirants, right? You are in, like you can say, actual stage of the life where you need to do something about your job, about your career. So you cannot spend months again and again. So you should have some real plans, and that's why once you are preparing, you should write as many exams as possible. Okay. So now in case of successive, once again, if there are changes like positive, so examples we can say, if a value, let's say x, and x is increased by 20%, then we got y, and then y is decreased by 10%, then we get z, and the change from x to z is r%. What will be the value of r? What we can say, if the change from x to z is r%, then r will be equal to 20 minus 10 minus 20 into 10 upon 100, which is equal to 20 minus 12, that is equal to 8%. So a value was increased by 20%, then decreased by 10%. So overall change is 8%. Okay. Then if both of them are negative, let's say x is decreased by 30%, then we got y, then y is decreased by 20%, then we got z, and the total change from x to z is r%. What will be the value of r? What we can say, r will be equal to minus 30. Okay. So minus 30 minus 20, minus minus will become plus, 30 into 20 upon 100. So this will be equal to minus 50 plus 6, minus 44%. So r will be equal to minus 44. Means there will be a decrease of 44% from x to z. No swastik, it's not minus 56%, it's minus 44%. Okay. Because see, negative will become positive, right? Minus 30 plus minus 20 plus minus 30 into minus 20 upon 100. This is what we are writing, minus 30 minus 20 plus 30 into 20 upon 100. So this is how you use successive. Now let's try this question. Let's check some uses of successive percentages. Hello Tarun. Now there are some real life uses of successive percentage, some really good uses of successive percentage in questions where you will struggle to find the answers easily, but using successive percentage concept you can find the answer in one line and one line only, and that we will learn later after we have learned some concepts, we have done some practice. After that we are going to learn some amazing use of successive percentages. But before that, try this question. it says the price of petrol increases by 20%. First, it increases by 20%, then by 25%, then it increases by 25%, and then it decreases by 20% in the end. Then it decreases by 20% in the end. What is the overall percentage change? So how do you find? There are 3 successive change. How do we find the overall percentage change? So the formula is only applicable for 2 values. So first we will try to solve any 2 values. So successive, equivalent successive of these 2 will be 20 plus 25 plus 20 into 25 upon 100. This is equal to 20 into 5, 5 into 5. It is 50%. So these two successive change is equivalent to 50%. Now we are going to take this 50% and we are going to take this minus 20%. So 50 and minus 20. What will be the successive of this? 50 minus 20 minus 50 into 20 upon 100. So this is directly 0, 0 cancelled out, right? So what we can say? That this will be equal to 50 minus 30, that is equal to 20%. So the overall change will be option D, which is 20%. That's the answer, hai na? Prabhat, yes, we can also use multiplication factor there, but using successive is much better plan with respect to multiplication factor. Yes, there are some really good uses of multiplication factor, but we will talk about that. Okay. Next is multiplication factor only. So whenever you have more than or equal to 3 percentage changes, you solve any 2, then take the result and find it in the third one. ठीक है, आ गया समझ में? Fraction method, you can also use fraction method. Okay then, now multiplication factor. Now give it a read. What's a multiplication factor? So what is multiplication factor? See, it's given that if you want to increase or decrease a value by some percentage, okay, so we have to do some steps. Like here, if I want to increase x by 10%, then what we need to do? We need to find x plus 10% of x, which will be this, then this, then this, and then we are reaching to this. Now this x became 1.1x. X became 1.1x or 11 upon 10x. By increasing 10%, if we increase x by 10%, we are getting 1.1x or 11 by 10x. This 1.1 is known as the multiplication factor. Multiplication factor in terms of 10% increase, right? And if you want to decrease a value by 10%, so what we can do? We can take 1 minus 10%. 1 is nothing but 100%. 100 minus 10% is 90%, which is 0.9. So if you want to decrease a value by 10%, you can simply multiply that value by 0.9. Okay. For example, see, let's say increase 80 by 20%. Increase 80 by 20%. What is 20%? What will be the multiplication factor with respect to 20%? So add 1 to this. This will become 1.2. So what we can say? The result will be equal to 80 into 1.2, that is equal to 96. As easy as it is, right? Now we can say decrease 90 by 30%. So what will be the multiplication factor here? The multiplication factor for 30% decrease will be 1 minus 30 by 100, which is equal to 0.7. So now if I want to decrease, I can simply multiply this value by 0.7, that will be equal to 63. Now these are very easy values. So there are multiple ways to find the exact answer, but if there are some bigger values, then these are very helpful. Okay. So remember, the multiplication factor is equal to 1 plus p%. If p is positive, then it will be added. If p is negative, then it will be subtracted. Okay. Or you can also say that, or you can also say multiplication factor is 100 plus p upon 100. This you can also use. Okay. Is this clear to everyone? The multiplication factor, is that clear to everyone? Now can anyone tell me what will be the multiplication factor? What will be the multiplication factor if I take 14.28% increase? If I increase a value by 14.28%, what will be the multiplication factor for that? Tell me, if I increase a value by 14.28%, what will be the multiplication factor for that? Sneha, 114.28 is not wrong, but the appropriate will be 14.28% is nothing but 1 by 7. So this will be 8 by 7. This is more appropriate, है ना, to use 8 by 7. In case of 14.28% increase, we will use 8 by 7. That is much better. Okay. Okay, then let's go to the next one. Try this question. What will be the answer? Option B. The length and the breadth of a rectangle are increased by 20% and 30% respectively. So for 20%, the multiplication factor will be 1 plus 20 by 100, which is equal to 1 by 5. So that gives us 6 by 5. And for 30% increase, the multiplication factor will be 1 plus 30 by 100, that is equal to 13 by 10. Now it says that what do we know? That area is equal to length into breadth. Now what will be the new area? New area will be equal to, the L will become 6 by 5 times L, and the breadth will become 13 by 10 times B. So this is eventually, this is 5 into 2, this is 3, so 39 upon 25 LB. So what's the percentage change? So percentage change will be equal to, so it was 25, it became 39, so 39 minus 25 upon 25 into 100, which is 14 upon 25 into 100, 4 times, it will become 56%. So this is how we use successive percentage change. Okay. Yes, 14 upon 25. Now this question can be solved using successive percentage concept as well, but that is in some time. Okay. We will talk about that in some time, but for now, as we are using the multiplication factor, you should solve it by multiplication factor. Shivangi, initially it was LB, the area was LB, now it became 39 by 25 LB, right? It was 1 into LB, now it became 39 by 25 LB. So the multiplication factor is this now, 39 upon 25. So from there, how do you find the percentage change? What is percentage change? Percentage change is equal to final value minus initial value upon initial value into 100. This is how you find percentage change. Okay. So if it was initial was 25, now it's 39. Correct? Final area is this, initial area is this. So the ratio of final upon initial will become 39 upon 25. Whenever you have multiplication factor, you can find the percentage change by taking, why not directly? Yes, we can also do that. Yes, we can also do that. See, this is what we are doing, right? I am doing this directly. See, in case of fraction, if it's in fraction, you should use like this, right? But again, you can also solve it. The new area will be 1.2L into 1.3B, which is equal to 1.56 LB. So 1.56 is the multiplication factor, or the change will be 56%. Yes, we can also solve it like this, but not every fraction can be changed in decimal like this, right? Tell me, can we change every fraction decimal like this? No. So we should also learn how to use fractions as well. Like if it was 15% change or 17% change, then it will be a little calculative if you convert it into decimal point. This method is not bad, but this is universal. Okay. How did 1 by 5 became 6 by 5? 1 plus 1 by 5. 1 plus 1 by 5 is 6 by 5. Huh? Shivangi, initial area was LB, right? And the final area is equal to 1.56 LB. So the percentage change will be equal to 1.56 LB minus LB divided by LB into 100. So what do we get? We get 0.56 LB upon LB into 100. LB cancelled out, we got 56%. This is, but from next time, if multiplication factor is 1.25, means change is 25%. if the multiplication factor is 1.31, then the change will be 31%. If the multiplication factor is 0.8, then change will be 20%. Why? 0.8 can be written as 1 minus 0.2. So this will be a decrease of 20%. So with respect to the result that we are getting in multiplication factor, we can find the percentage change by comparing how much that value is more than 1 or less than 1. Okay? All right, now let's try this one. So how do we solve this question? It says in an engineering college in Nagpur, 65% of the students pass their applied mechanics exam in first year. Among the students who have to repeat the paper in second year, so see, 65% passed means 35% will have to repeat. 65% passed meaning 35% will repeat the exam, right? Correct. So 35% will repeat the exam, and it says 50% pass on their second attempt. So out of these 35%, 50% passed and 50% will repeat this exam, right? Among the students who have to take the paper third time, 70% passed on their third attempt. What percentage of students have to take the paper more than 3 times? So out of these 50% who passed and the 50% who failed, 70% passed and 30% of these will have to repeat this exam, right? So what do? It says what percentage of students have to take the exam. So required percentages. So 30% of the remaining 50% of the remaining 35%, correct? These people will have to give the exam more than 3 times, है ना? They must be liking this exam by now. So it will be 30 by 100 into 50 by 100 into 35 upon 100, correct? Correct. So this is 2 times, this is 15 times. So what are we getting? 15 into 35. What is 15 into 35? So it will be equal to 15 into 5 or 350, 175, 525 upon 1000, right? This is what we need to find in percentage. These we have used 30% of 50% of 35%, correct? So this I can write 525 upon 100 into 1 by 100. 1 by 100 is nothing but percent, right? This will become 5.25%. These many students will have to repeat the exam. 1 by 100 means percentage and 525 by 100 is 5.25. That's why I did not cancel out these values. Swastik, yes, that's the same thing, right? That's the same thing, 0.5, है ना? Shivangi, required percentage is what's left. Initially 35% were left, right? Of those 50% had to repeat, and whatever left of those 30% will have to repeat. This is the required percent. Initially 35% failed. Out of these 35%, 50% failed. Whatever is left out of those 70% failed means 30% will have to repeat the exam for the 4th time, correct? So now we just need to calculate it, है ना? Is that clear now, Shivangi? 65% passed, so 35% failed. Out of these 35%, 50% passed, so 50% of this failed. And out of this, whatever is left, 70% passed, so 30% still failed. So 30% of 50% of 35%. These percentage of people overall failed in all the 3 exams, right? Sure, good. Now comes the golden rule in terms of percentages, okay? What if you decrease a value or increase a value by some percentage, है ना? Namrata, yes, you can do it by taking 100. After 100, 35 will be left. After that, 17.5 will be left. 17.5, 35, 30% of that, 5.25 left. That is correct. You can do this by 100. Now, the golden rule of percentages says that if A is increased by 1 by x, then B should be decreased by 1 by x plus 1 to keep the product constant. Whenever you see A into B is equal to constant, if A is increased by some percentage, the percentage conversion of that is 1 by x, then it should be, then the other value should be increased by 1 by x plus 1 to keep the product constant. Then if A is decreased by 1 by x, then B should be increased by 1 by x minus 1 to keep the product constant. If A is increased by A by B, then B should be decreased by A plus B to keep the product constant. And similarly, if A is decreased by A by B, then B should be increased by A upon B minus A to keep the product constant. ठीक है, जैसे for example, what do we know? That price into expenditure is equal, price into consumption, price into consumption is equal to expenditure. And if I want to keep this constant, the expenditure is constant, okay? If I increase the price, by 25%, then with what value consumption should be decreased so that the expenditure is constant. What is 25%? This is 1 by 4. This value is increased by 1 by 4. If it is increased by 1 by x, then b should be decreased by 1 by x plus 1. So b should be decreased by 1 by 5. And what is 1 by 5? 1 by 5 is nothing but 20%. So the consumption should be decreased by 20%, so that the expenditure is constant. So now these type of question will become one liner question for you guys. Okay. So just remember these golden rule, and whenever you see a into b is constant, you can use this frequently. देखो, example is given, price into consumption is equal to expenditure. You can also understand from here. This will be the language of the question and you can solve it. Now can you tell me, if I increase speed increased by, let's say, increased by 12.5%, okay, time will decrease by what percent if distance is same? Tell me, speed increased by 12.5%, then what will happen to time? Time will decrease by what percent if distance is same? %11.11%. देखो कितना ईजी हो गया अब ये, है ना. What do we know? That speed into time is equal to distance, and distance is same, means distance is constant here. So speed is increased by 12.5%. 12.5% is 1 by 8. So speed is increased by 1 by 8. Time will decrease by 1 by 9. 1 by 9 is nothing but 11.11%. That's how easy it will be for you guys now. Okay, just follow these golden rules. Okay, now the concept that I was talking about, the uses of successive percentage. The uses of successive percentage. What's the use of successive percent? See, whenever you have a situation like A into B is equal to C, like previous example, area is equal to length into breadth, or length into breadth is equal to area. Then we have speed into time is equal to distance. Price into consumption is equal to expenditure. In all of these situations, if all the three values are changing with some percentages, then the relation between them will be this. If change in A is X percent, change in B is Y percent, and change in C is Z percent, then Z will be successive of X and Y. So basically Z is equal to X plus Y plus XY upon 100. If the price of tea is decreased by 20%, by what percentage should the consumption of tea of a family be increased so that the expenditure increased by only 10%? So you can see, price decreased by 20%, expenditure increased by 10%, the change in consumption is Y%. So the successive of these two will be 10. So use the concept, find the value directly. These type of questions were never so easy to solve, right? You can directly apply one concept and you will get the answer. You don't have to assume anything. You don't have to do any calculation. You can directly find the answer. 3 by 8. Yes, Ronaldo. We can also use the multiplication factor concept here and find the answer. Okay, everyone, is that clear? How and where we can use this successive percentage concept? I hope this is clear to everyone, right? These last two concepts that we have learned are very important in terms of percentages, okay? All right, so now we are going to try few questions based on the concepts that we have learned, and we will see that in how many ways we can solve those questions, like using successive percentage or multiplication factor or assuming 100, anything, okay? We will try as many different methods as possible so that you can understand each method completely and you can use any of them whenever it's required, whatever is convenient to you, okay? So let's try this one. यस सेम है पहले वाला है ना. यस बनारसी राइट बंसारी सा. Yes, recorded videos are available as well as live classes are also available in this course. Anu went to buy a laptop after seeing the price on the internet. She was carrying the exact amount on her which she had seen on the internet, but the shopkeeper informed her of 12.5% of VAT on the internet price. By what percentage she should bargain for the reduction of the price so that she can buy it at the internet price? So if the price was X, it increased by 12.5%. What is 12.5%? It's 1 by 8, right? So it became 9 by 8p. Now if I want to make it p again, then I will have to multiply it by 8 by 9. 1 minus 8 by 9 is equal to 1 by 9. 1 by 9 is 11.11%. So basically the value should be decreased by 11.11%, so that she can bargain 11.11%, so she can buy it as internet price. So that's the answer, 11.11%. This golden rule you can also use if a value is increased and returning to the same value. You know, this is the same thing. If A is increased by A by X, then A by X should be decreased by, like this. If A is increased by 1 by X to get A dash, then to get A again, it should decrease by 1 by X plus 1. Aisa. You can use this. Shivangi, the golden rule that we have learned can be used here as well. See, if A is increased by 1 by X, A is increased by 1 by 8, we got A dash, then it should be decreased by 1 by X plus 1 to get the original value. So if it was increased by 1 by 8, then it should be decreased by 1 by 9 to get the original value. Just the golden rule. The golden rule, but with only one variable. If a value is increased by 1 by X, it should be decreased by 1 by X plus 1 to get old value. Okay, Shivangi? Like in this one, the price was P, but it became 9 by 8P, right? It became 9 by 8P. Now, if you want to make it P again, what we will have to do? We will have to multiply it by 8 by 9. 8 by 9 is the multiplication factor, correct? And how do we find the percentage change in case of multiplication factor? The change divided by 9 into 100, which is 11.11%. Okay, now let's try this question. Sanjog, yes, we have lots of questions, and those type of questions are also there. Don't worry about it, okay? Jeet Singh travels with a certain speed from his villa to iQuanta office. One day, because of heavy traffic, his average speed decreased by 22.22%. If his usual travel time is 28 minutes on a usual day, then how much time it will take him to reach his office on that particular day? So speed into time is equal to distance, and distance is constant here. This value decreased by 22.22%, meaning decreased by 2 by 9. Decreased by 2 by 9. Now let's go back and let's check what happens if value is decreased. See, if A is decreased by A by B means if A is decreased by 2 by 9, B should be increased by A upon B minus A, meaning 2 upon 9 minus 2, that is equal to 2 by 7. So it should be increased by 2 by 7. So it should be increased by 2 upon 9 minus 2, which is equal to 2 by 7. Initially it was 28 minutes. So new time is equal to 28 plus 2 by 7 of 28. This is 4 times, or we can say this is 36 minutes. देखो कुछ भी यहाँ लफड़े करने की जरूरत नहीं है, easily solve हो गया है ना. Using the golden rule you can solve these type of questions very easily कि कभी ये क्वेश्चन था ही नहीं, like that. All right, चलो let's go to the next question, है ना. Now similar question, try this one. So here the value is increased, है ना. The length of rectangle increased by 42.85%. Length into breadth is equal to area, and area is constant. Area is what? Area is constant. This value increased by 42.85%. If this value is increased by A by B %, then this value should be decreased by A upon A plus B. If this value is increased by A by B, then this value should decrease by A upon A plus B. So this is increased by 42.85% is 3 by 7. This should be decreased by 3 by 10, and 3 by 10 is nothing but 30%. So you can solve these type of questions orally now. So it says what should be the percentage change in its breadth. So it should decrease. Percentage change is always positive. Answer is option D. It's not minus 30%. it says what should be the percentage change in breadth. Change is always positive. Remember, change is always positive. So minus 30 means nothing here. The answer will be 30%. Okay, options are tricky. You should be careful about that. 10 to 15, the change is 5. 15 to 10, the change is 5. Okay. Answer is not B. Answer is option D. Change or difference, all of these are always positive quantity, or you can say non-negative quantity, because it can be 0 as well. Otherwise, you will solve the question correctly, you will mark the option wrongly, you will come home happily, then you will check the answers sadly, right? G.V. Chetan, as I said, that some conversion that will be used in the question, once you see them, you will remember it forever. So, till now, if you were not aware of it, but you are aware that 1 by 7 is equal to 14.28%, right? This is 42 point something. So, we will check if this is correct or not 3 times exactly. 3 by 7 as per this will be 42.84%. So, this is round off value. This 42.85 is round off value of 42.84%. So, for some time you will have to know this value. Once you know this, you are not going to forget this. Like we have also seen 57.13% today. That is equal to 4 by 7. What is 22.22%? It is 2 by 9. Why? Because we have used so frequently that now we remember it. Okay, what is percentage points concept? Percentage points. See, in a school, total number of students were 1000 in the year 2021, of which 40% were girls. Find the number of girls in the year 2022 if number of girls increased by 10%. Number of girls increased by 10%. Initially, 40% were girls, means 400 were girls. In that case, it will be 400 plus 10% of 400. That will be equal to 400 plus 40, that is equal to 440. But if it says number of girls increased by 10 percentage points, meaning this means now girls are 40 plus 10, 50%. Now girls are 50% and 50% of 1000 is equal to 500. This is the difference between the percentage increase and percentage points increase. Okay, this is really important, guys. Whenever you see percentage points, remember you just need to increase the value by that percentage. Okay, these two are different things. Number of girls increased by 10%, 400 was increased by 10%. Number of girls increased by 10 percentage points. So, initially if it was 40%, now the girls are 50% of the total, 40%, 10 percentage point increase. So, we will increase 40 to 10, means now it is 50. Okay? Is that clear? The percentage points concept, is that clear to everyone? Don't do mistakes in this case. Although these type of questions are very rare, but those type of questions will be very easy because they are just checking if you know about percentage points or not, and if you know, these are easy marks. Mathly, initially girls are 40% of the total, so girls are 400. Now, in the first case, in A, number of girls increased by 10%. So 10% of 400, as simple as that. 10% of 400 is 40. So now the number of girls is 440. But in second case it says it increased by 10 percentage points. 10 percentage points means even if girls were 40% of total, now they are 40 plus 10, 50% of the total. We will increase the share by 10. Share was 40%, now it's 50%. That's it. That's the meaning of percentage point. So now girls are 50% of the total, means 500. Why not 50% of 400? Why 50% of 400? 400 are girls, right? Number of girls increased by 10 percentage points. Means girls were 40%, now they are 50% of the total. Why would you take 50% of 400? फिर तो वो कम हो जाएंगे बहुत, फिर तो वो 200 बचेंगे, है ना? तो इंक्रीज कहाँ हुआ ये बताओ? 10 percentage point increase हुआ with respect to total, ना? Not with respect to girls. Okay, Reshma? Okay, now let's try another concept where you have to use the percentage to fraction conversion. What will be the answer for this question? See, 1 by 11 is equal to 9.09%. 2 by 11 is equal to 18.18%. है ना? 3 by 11 is equal to 27.27%. And about this value we have discussed today. Now you can see how easy it becomes once you have seen those values. So this is equal to 3 upon 11 of 1760 plus this we have practiced today. This is nothing but 4 by 7 of 3374. 11 into 160, 7 times 4 28, 5 7, so 8 times 2. So this is equal to 480 and this is equal to 8 to 19 and this will be equal to 2408. That's the value we are looking for, है ना? So Swastik, Reshma, Sanjog, Sumit, correct answer C. I think Ashika did not use these fractions, right? Ashika tried to calculate it using calculator and see what happened. She got 2407. She is not doing anything wrong here, but still she got the wrong answer. Difference by 1, just 1, but still it's wrong, correct? So that's why, that's how important this conversion part is. Prabhat, no, we don't have any calculator in SNAP exam or NMAT exam. All right, now let's try this one as well. That's good, Ashika, because this fraction to percentage or percentage to fraction conversion is important. So you should definitely work on those. What is the value of 31.66% of 66,000? What's the value? Chetan, after decimal it's really helpful, like 0.66. Where do we get 0.66? 66.66% or 6.66% or 16.66%. In scenarios like that, whatever is convenient, you can break it. Like 31.66% can be written as 25% plus 6.66%, right? So either you can break it and directly solve it, or you can convert it into fraction as well. We don't need to convert it, you can directly multiply and solve, but we should know this. So this is nothing but 1 by 15, right? 1 by 15, and this is equal to 15 plus 4, 19 upon 60. So what we can say, this will be equal to 19 upon 60 into 66000. So this cancelled out by 100. 19 into 11, 20900, 20,900. 1 by 4 plus 1 by 15, that's correct. So after decimal part is really helpful while breaking this and find the exact percentage conversion. मेरे बाल का percentage I think I will have to find the appropriate fraction, right? If I am able to find appropriate fraction, then I will be able to convert it into percentage very quickly, but right now I don't know the appropriate fraction. So if you guys can help me with that, I can convert it, है ना? In previous question there is no need. In previous question there is no need because these are direct conversion. 27.27% is 3 by 11, 57.12% is 4 by 7. So there is no need to convert it. Okay, Siddhant? Whenever there is no direct concept, then we can convert it. Alright guys, one last time for today. Okay, if you have joined us late, then let me tell you, today as of this session, we have started our NMAT SNAP batch officially, and first 3 sessions are going to be free, absolutely free, in public on YouTube, okay, so that you can practice on your own regarding NMAT and SNAP. And today was the first session of percentages. Then next session tomorrow will be with Savannah ma'am, and Savannah ma'am will be taking session of critical reasoning, and after that there will be a session of logical reasoning, and that will be taken by Nitin Kukreja sir on Sunday. The topic will be blood relations, okay, the topic will be blood relations. So I hope all of you guys are all ready, so and crack exam NMAT SNAP, okay guys. So that's it for today. See you guys in the next session, mostly on Monday, not here in our paid batch session, okay. So thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, then don't forget to like it officially, subscribe the channel, and share it with your friends who are also preparing for MBA exams, okay. So thank you, bye bye. Timings of the classes, Shivangi, will be 4 to 6, same time.